Hello. Today we're going to practice blending sounds together and then deciding if the word that we're saying is a real word that we've heard before or not. So we're going to be using these parts of a word right here. These are like the ending parts of a word. And let's go over right now what these sounds say together. Op, og, ought, ob, ox, odd. So in all of those word parts, we have the letter O, which makes the sound aw here. In all of these, it makes that same sound. We are going to start and we're going to put a letter, the same letter at the beginning of all of these, and we're going to see if it makes a real word when we blend all the sounds together. We're going to start by putting the letter P at the beginning of all of them. So let's blend these sounds together. P, op, pop, pop, pop. Now think, is that a real word or is it just sounds that we hear? Pop. Yeah, pop is a real word. We can pop some popcorn or we can pop a balloon. So pop is a real word. Now let's come over here. Actually, let's go down underneath pop. Let's do right here. Blend them together. P, ought, pot, pot, pot. Is pot a real word? Think about it. Pot. Yes, pot is a real word. We cook dinner in a pot. Might have a pot in your kitchen. Or, oh, how about a flower pot? So that's a real word. Now let's go down here. Blend these sounds together. P, ox, pox, pox. Is pox a word? Have you heard that before? I bet you've heard it with the word chicken in front of it. Chicken pox. Yes, pox is a real word. Let's go up here. Blend these sounds together. P, og, pog, pog, pog. Is that a real word? Have you heard that before? Well, technically, the word pog is a real word. I looked it up just to be sure. It's a game, and it has some other meaning too, but pog is a real word, but it's not a word that I use, and it might not be a word that you've ever used before. Let's come to this one. Put a P here. Let's blend these sounds together. P, ob, pob, pob. Is pob a word? Is that a word that means something? No, it's not. Pob is not a word. Last one. Blend these together. P, odd, pod, pod. Is pod a word? This one might be tricky too. Pod is a word, but you may not be very familiar with it. Peas come in a pod, like the vegetable. There are a group of whales together. They swim in a pod. So that is a word, but it might not be a word that you're very familiar with. Okay, I'm going to erase all of this, and we're going to do another consonant at the beginning of these. This time, we are going to do the consonant L. Okay, and in the sake of time, I'm going to skip this one and this one. So here we go. Let's start with right here. Lot, lot, lot. Is lot a real word? Is that a word that you use? Yes, it is. You might say, I want a lot of ice cream. Let's come up here. Log, log, log. Is log a real word? Yeah, you know what a log is. Next one. Lob, lob, lob. Do you know if lob is a real word? Lob is actually a real word, but you might not know this word because we don't use it very often. But it means like to toss something, to throw something, but not very hard. So I might lob a ball over the volleyball net. Last one for L. Blend these sounds together. Laud, laud, laud. Is laud a word? Nope, laud is not a word. Okay, we're going to do one more letter and then we're going to be done. And in this one, we're going to leave off of this. So we're just going to do these four. Okay, let's start up at the top. We're at F, so let's blend these sounds together. Fop, fop, fop. Is fop a word? It's not a word that I've ever heard. Now let's put an F here. Blend these sounds together. Fog, fog, fog. Is fog a real word? Yes, fog is a real word. Fog is when it almost looks like there's clouds down on the ground around us and it's kind of hard to see. It's a type of weather and it doesn't happen very often here where we live. Let's come down here. Oh, I bet you know this word. This is a real word. Let's blend it together and see what it is. Fox, fox, fox. Fox is a real word. It's an animal. Last word. Blend it together. Fod, fod, fod. Is that a word that you've heard before? It's not a word that I've heard before. Fod is not a word. Okay, if you would like to keep doing this with other consonants, you can take a screenshot of this part right here. You can pause it and take a screenshot, or you can just take a screenshot while the video is going and save it. If you have Notability, you could import this photo into Notability and you can write letters at the beginning of these other two letters and blend them together and decide if you have made a real word or not. Remember, every time that we're reading, we're always blending the sounds together and then thinking about what word is that I just read? What does that word mean? To help us read and understand our story. Happy reading!